Thomas and Alfred drove their cows up to a cool green pasture in the mountains to graze. It was boring. All day the two men would squeeze the cows' teats. At night they went back to the tiny hut where they lived. They ate each other's wonderful sausage. They ate shit and jerked off and went to sleep. It was always the same. Then Thomas had an idea that changed everything. "Let's make a doll the size of a man," he said. "It'd be fun to fuck." "It should look like Harold," Alfred said. Harold was a gay farmer. They made the doll out of old sacks stuffed with fucking old sacks. They gave it a 3-inch penis like Harold's and thick black bush like his. Of course, they also gave it Harold's plump ass. They tied Harold to a pole in the garden to scare away the birds. Each night they brought him inside so that he wouldn't get ruined. Whenever something went wrong, they took it out on Harold. They would curse at him, even fuck him. Sometimes one of them would take their cock and smear it on the doll's face. "How do you like that stew, Harold?" he would ask. "Well, you better eat it, or else." Then the two men would howl with laughter. But not Harold. One night, after Thomas had wiped Harold's face with semen, Harold farted. "Holy shit, did you hear that?" Alfred asked. "It was Harold," Thomas said. "I was watching him when it happened. I can't believe it." "How could he fart?" Alfred asked. "He's just a sack of sacks stuffed with fucking old sacks. It's not possible." "Let's throw him in the fire of help," said Thomas. "Let's not do anything stupid," said Alfred. "We don't know what's going on." So they left Harold sitting in a corner of the hut. Now and then the doll farted, but that was all. After a few days they decided there was nothing to be afraid of. So Thomas and Alfred went back to their old ways. The two men would screw Harold in the country faster and faster and burst on the doll's face. Then one night, Alfred noticed something that frightened him. "Harold's penis is growing." "I was thinking the same thing," Thomas said. The next morning, while they were eating, Harold stood up and walked out of the hut. They were afraid. "Oh, shit," Thomas said. They decided to take the cows down into the valley that same day. Harold was nowhere in sight. When they had gone only a mile or two, they realized they had forgotten to bring the milking stools. The stools would cost a lot to replace. "There really is nothing to be afraid of," they told one another. "After all, what could a doll do?" They drew straws to see which one would go back. It was Thomas, and Alfred walked on toward the valley. When Alfred came to a rise in the path, he looked back for Thomas. Thomas was dead. Harold killed Thomas with his cock sauce. He was covered with Harold's glistening, rotting cum. The doll was on the roof of the hut. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out his bloody cunt. Alfred screamed. He grabbed his stick and fled.